Hey everybody, we hope you're doing well. Happy New Year. We continue to pray for you, to miss you, continue to pray for the U.S. and all that's going on in this country. We pray that God would change things and change people's hearts and bring unity. But more than anything, I hope during these times that you'd really take a step back and really ask God what He wants of us, and ask how we could really draw close to Him during these times. As we get back into the Sermon on the Mount, it's an interesting passage that we'll get to now. We were talking about the passage in Matthew 7 about judging and judging others. There's this last little bit at that end of that passage, which, depending upon if you understand the context or not, is pretty strange, or at least hard to understand what they really mean. What did Jesus really mean when He said this? But to put it in context, I want you to think of your friendships, of your relationships. I want you to think of, people that you invest in, whether it's that you share some of yourself with, you trust them, so you open up more, or you've gone the extra step to help somebody, even if it's a stranger. And how did that turn out? So you taking the step to give them the best of you, let's say. Did they accept that? Did it change the situation? Did it help them? Was it worth you doing that? That's sort of the angle that I think we need to think most of when we look at this verse. It's in Matthew chapter 7, verse 6. Let me read it really quickly for you. It says, "Do not give to dogs what is sacred. Don't throw your pearls to pigs. If you do, they may trample them under their feet and turn and tear you to pieces." Now, this is basically saying, don't give something holy, don't give something precious to certain people if they're going to just trample all over it. And one of those precious and holy things is you. Now, depending upon how you view this verse, you might disagree with me. But I think if we take the theme as an overarching theme, it's basically saying, while you want to serve all people, while you want to reach out to all people, you also have to have discernment and judgment as you do that. Now, if somebody's going to trample all over you, yes, approach them with love, approach them with grace, approach them with the heart of Jesus, but don't fully give them everything if all that's going to happen is you're going to get beat up in the process. What Jesus is really talking about is the most holy and sacred thing that we could give people, and that's the message about Him. So what He's basically saying is, be wise, use judgment, use discernment as you share the best thing that you have, which is really the message of Him, which is Him and His love, God and His forgiveness and His mercy. As we share that with other people, use a little discernment, because there's going to be people that just beat it up. Not beat you up, but beat it up, right? They would trample it under their feet, and then they'll turn and tear you to pieces. I don't know if you'll actually experience that in the U.S. or not. I don't know if the country you're listening to, you'll experience that or not. I highly doubt it here in the U.S. You might lose a friendship, right? But Jesus is basically saying, even as you give the most sacred gift of all to other people, use discernment in how you give it and who you give it to. That also helps us understand people who are more open. And as you look to friendships, that will also help you understand people who are quality people, who don't take the best of what you have and step all over it. Because we end up becoming like the people we spend time with, the people who we let into our hearts. So I hope and pray that we could really be discerning in our relationships this year. And we could also be really proactive in our relationships this year. That if we have the best thing, the most holy, the most amazing thing, the most precious thing, the message of Jesus, and we haven't given that or shared that with people in our lives, let this be the year that we do that. Let this year be the year that we take those steps. And as we do that, look for how people respond. And if they don't respond well, then just stop. And look for people who will respond well, because there are so many people out there who need a message of hope right now, who need a message of encouragement and of forgiveness, to feel loved. And the only way we could truly feel loved is to understand Him who is love. So I hope and pray as we get back into the Sermon on the Mount, we can understand we have the most precious and holy and valuable thing to give to people. And as we do, as we choose to be proactive to do that, we also use discernment as we go. And it'd be amazing to see the things that God leads us to, the situations, the relationships, the experiences. It is as unforgettable to feel used by God. And that's my hope and prayer for us all as we go into this year. God bless.